Hello, guys. So there's so much heavy news each and every day. It's just terrible. It's horrible. We need more uplifting stories out there. So what I want to talk about right now in this session is about the safety of buildings because it's just not ideal if you're living in if you're living somewhere and you're not sure what's going to happen. And news is like reoccurring like everywhere in the world. I mean, last year there was like a 12-story beachfront condo in Miami Surfside, Florida, that collapsed all of a sudden, and 98 people passed away, which is horrible. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because I saw a post from one of my friends, and she had to evacuate from a fire. And she lives in a condo, and I just think it's terrible. I think it's terrible that she was involved in such a situation, but thankfully, she's okay and her family's okay. So I want to share what she's shared as her learnings, so it can probably help people out there if they find themselves in the same situation or not. But before I go into that, I want to go into the fact that here in Bangkok, I mean, several years ago, which is probably reported about in 2016 or 2017, the Engineer Institute of Thailand said that in the past few years, over 20,000 buildings in Bangkok need to be checked for safety. And that was reported like a few years ago. Can you imagine like the amount right now? That's just crazy. And they said maintenance is the key to keep the building safe, but who's going to enforce the maintenance? And they said especially for high-rise buildings, basically, in order to have their licenses extended, they need to be approved every year, and they need experts to go in and check the building's safety and the maintenance and everything. But who my question is, how is it enforced? And if that's enforced only with certain buildings, what about the buildings that's not enforced? That just puts people in danger overall. And I was reading up on the maintenance of condos and high rises, and especially in traffic congested area. So carbon dioxide actually deteriorates and erodes the building structure. So that's another factor that's in there. And I also read that 12,000 bridges in Thailand, which spans over 400 kilometers, are over 50 years old. And earlier this year, this is about where in October, in about July or August, there was certain bridges on a certain road in Thailand that was under construction that just collapsed during the rains. There was like heavy rains, heavy storms, and these construction just collapsed and fell on cars. And I don't think it was just one time; it was several times. So this is like the danger overall in having to be careful wherever you are, living in buildings or even driving around the city. There's no safety measures. So I think it comes to the point where you need to be careful and aware of your surroundings, whether you're driving around. And I know it can be, you might be in a situation that you can't do much, but I think as long as you're you're aware of your surroundings, you can get yourself out of the situation quicker and faster compared to not being aware of your surroundings. So I'm going to share key takeaways from my friend. And basically, she wrote my learnings and please check your buildings too. And I want to share this and pass it forward as well. She said zero fire alarms were heard. It turns out there was only the fire alarm that was heard on the floor that had the fire, but it should be on every single floor. Uh, when you move into a building, you should ask for like a fire drill because this creates a safety measure. And I know a lot of condos out there do have the fire drill. I remember working in an office, we would have fire drills. So I think it has to be mandatory. There were only two stairways, but she only knew of one. So I think it's really important to know your building floor plan as to how many staircases there are, as when there is something that's an emergency, you know where to go. The stairwell, when opened with black smoke, had zero emergency lights. So basically, she had to crawl down near the floor, and because smoke travels up, so you can't see. So make sure that your emergency lights actually work, and the stairwell um, in the hallway where elevated uh, are in. Okay, sorry about that. I'll move on to the next one. Firefighters, foundation, first responders were all disorganized. They didn't know where to go. There was no floor plan given to the firefighters or the residents. So key takeaways is please keep a flashlight and a big towel or cloth near the doorway so you can grab the flashlight, you can grab a big towel or a cloth when you need to use it. Learn where the fire extinguisher is and how to use it, have a system of who to call, and how to count for everyone. Look into having an emergency rope ladder escape system so you can have that, keep that on the side of the balcony if you're living in a higher floor. The fire was caused by an air con that was turned on and started blowing smoke, then sparks flew into the bed. That's what the tenant said. That's where the fire started. So it's important to check your air cons, get it get it regularly maintained, and make sure that electricity and everything is not faulty. Should If you have kids, you should teach your kids basic fire and earthquake drills. And communication within the building is important to set up a system in case of an emergency like this. And there was zero sprinklers. So these are her key takeaways. I'm really glad that she's sharing this. I can't, I mean, this has happened to her like, a day or 2 days ago. So I think she's trying to um share this as fast as possible to warn other people if they find themselves in the same dilemma. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. Basically, I just want to be sort of like the extra voice out there. I think being prepared, being aware is it will help you out there, help people out there, help myself to be more prepared if any emergencies happen. So yeah, please be safe out there. Right. Bye.